This is actually the camera I'm most interested in.
Yeah.
There it is. I had tied it to that log.
Something grabbed it?
I can't assume it was thrown, but chimps in the field are known to mess with cameras. Why don't we try sending it to Bryce and see if he can extract anything from it?
Great idea.
A team of highly trained specialists went into the deep forests of southeast Kentucky and made an incredible discovery. They found Bigfoot. For years, people have talked about this legendary creature, but no one has ever had solid evidence. Now, this special ops team claims they've uncovered the proof that's been missing for centuries. Let's dive into their shocking findings and how they made this possible. The frightening encounter. The discovery wasn't easy, and it might cause some strong reactions. The team didn't just stumble across a calm, peaceful scene. They had a frightening encounter with a strange creature deep in the woods. And it wasn't just their eyes playing tricks on them. They picked up real evidence using their advanced equipment. These strange noises and signals were unlike anything they had encountered before.
Tell me you heard that.
Could these clues really lead to Bigfoot? It's hard to believe at first. After all, people have talked about Bigfoot for hundreds of years, yet there's never been clear proof. This legendary creature has been a mystery in North American folklore for generations. Most of what we've seen are unclear videos, blurry photos, and stories passed down over time. The truth about Bigfoot has always seemed just out of reach. But the team from Expedition Bigfoot wasn't going to give up. They were determined to solve this mystery once and for all. This team included experts from different fields, like cryptozoology, which studies hidden or unknown animals, and the paranormal. They spent months planning and preparing for this mission, hoping to finally uncover the truth behind Bigfoot. Then, in the middle of their search, something strange happened. One of the team members stopped and asked, "Did you hear that?" They had just heard two loud knocks, like something hitting trees, an eerie sound that's often linked to Bigfoot sightings. The team froze, listening closely as the knocks echoed through the forest. It was as if something, or someone, was trying to communicate with them. The team was deep in the remote forests of southeast Kentucky, an area known for mysterious sightings and strange activity. They believed they were closer than ever to finding Bigfoot, but even with this breakthrough, it was hard for many to believe. For years, the only proof of Bigfoot's existence has been shaky at best, fuzzy photos or vague videos that leave plenty of room for doubt. Many have dismissed the creature as a myth, but this team wasn't ready to give up. They followed a lead into one of the most untouched and unexplored parts of Kentucky, hoping that this time they would find something more concrete.
I think there's something on the ridge above me. We definitely know we're not alone out here.
As they pressed on, they began hearing more strange sounds. These noises weren't small or insignificant. They were loud and heavy, as if made by something big and powerful, and the sounds weren't just coming from one direction. The team realized that whatever was making these noises was moving around them, with sounds coming from 3 different directions. It was a tense moment. The deeper they ventured, the more they felt like they were being watched. Tracking Bigfoot down, tracking something so elusive in the middle of the night was no easy task. The team was in the heart of the wilderness, far from civilization, relying only on their equipment and instincts. They had to stay focused, following small clues, hoping they were getting closer to finding the legendary creature. The fear of the unknown was always in the back of their minds, but they were determined to push forward. Thankfully, they had some extra support. Russell Accord, a survival expert, was keeping watch from a cliff 400 feet above them. He was monitoring the team's movements and listening for anything unusual. He too heard the strange noises coming from different directions, confirming what the team on the ground was experiencing. Having his guidance gave the team some peace of mind, knowing they weren't alone in their search. As they continued tracking the sounds, the tension grew. They believed they were getting closer and closer to something big, something that could change everything we know about Bigfoot. The dark, dense forest was filled with strange noises and an eerie feeling that something was out there, watching them. The team was determined to solve this centuries-old mystery, no matter the risks. Dr. Maria and Ronnie LeBlanc moved toward the source of the strange noises they had been hearing in the woods, but they did so with great caution. As much as the idea of tracking this mysterious creature excited them, Mireya knew the dangers that lurked in these forests. The woods of Kentucky are home to many powerful animals, like wolves and bears, and they could easily be following something far more dangerous than Bigfoot. What if the noise wasn't coming from Bigfoot at all, but from something like a bear?
Here we go.
The idea was scary, but the sounds didn't seem to match anything typical of the usual wildlife in the area. They weren't bear growls or wolf howls. These noises were different, unlike anything they had ever heard before. They felt confident they were tracking something truly unusual, and with a bit of luck, they hoped it would be the legendary Bigfoot. Even though the thrill of possibly finding Bigfoot was growing, it also brought a sense of fear. At one point, LeBlanc thought he had spotted the creature off in the distance. His voice wavered as he told Mireya what he saw. We don't know if he was more excited or scared at that moment, but one thing was certain. He wasn't going to let this opportunity slip away.
Mireya, it's right there. Run.
Ronnie, slow down. Be careful, stop.
Ignoring Mireya's warnings to be careful, LeBlanc couldn't hold back. He was determined to chase after the creature, even if it meant putting himself at risk. Mireya called for him to stop and approach the situation more carefully, but it was clear that LeBlanc had only one goal in mind: to capture proof of Bigfoot. He wasn't about to miss this chance. Thankfully, they had Russell Accord watching over them from a cliff, 400 feet above. An expert survivalist, Accord was their guide and extra set of eyes, helping them stay on track. He also heard the strange sounds from his vantage point, confirming that something unusual was moving through the forest below. But finding Bigfoot wasn't going to be easy, especially in the dead of night. The darkness made everything harder, and even though the team was well prepared, tracking an elusive creature like Bigfoot in such conditions was a huge challenge. Mireya was especially frustrated by LeBlanc's inability to stay calm while they tried to catch this strange creature in its natural habitat. To be fair, LeBlanc was too excited to let the opportunity slip away. Even though he knew he might not be fast enough to get a picture, he was desperate to at least see the creature with his own eyes. Unfortunately, despite his efforts, the creature slipped away before he could catch up. 3 untouched nests. While the situation seemed frustrating, there was a small discovery: 3 nests untouched from the previous night. This suggested that whatever made them hadn't returned. But things took a turn when LeBlanc realized they were back at a familiar spot. He and Mireya quickly saw that the chase had led them in circles, taking them back to where they started.
I think we got turned around.
What?
We're back to where we started.
This experience was interesting for LeBlanc, as he had heard of other Bigfoot enthusiasts getting lost in similar ways when they came close to tracking the creature. Though it felt like a setback, the team believed this strange experience might bring them even closer to uncovering the truth about Bigfoot. They knew that to find the creature, they'd need to push past their frustration and keep going, despite the disappointment of getting lost. As Mireya and LeBlanc spoke, they began to wonder if their confusion wasn't just bad luck. Could the 3 creatures they were tracking have intentionally led them astray, causing them to lose their sense of direction? The idea that Bigfoot might be that intelligent added a whole new layer to the mystery. The thought was unsettling, especially when LeBlanc suddenly realized the creatures might be much closer than they had imagined.
It sounded like it was right in front of me. I had to chase it. Wait, I recognize this.
He even believed they were right there with them in the woods. It was a chilling realization, especially considering they were alone in the middle of nowhere, hunting for something unknown. What made this even creepier was the sudden silence. The strange noises that had been haunting them stopped completely. What did this silence mean? Were the creatures waiting for the perfect moment to act? Mireya and LeBlanc couldn't be sure, but they both knew they had to do something to bring these creatures out of hiding. To force the creatures into the open, Mireya asked Russell Accord to play some loud sounds, hoping it would trigger a reaction. Maybe it would even reveal the creature's location. But the plan didn't work. The sounds were loud and eerie, much like the noises they had been tracking earlier, but there was no response. After some time, they realized the creatures hadn't made a sound for over an hour. This silence was even more unnerving. It felt like the creatures had just been watching them, waiting for something. Though what that might be, no one knew. The Lost Coast. To be honest, dealing with mythical creatures like Bigfoot can come with its challenges. It's not an easy job at all. In fact, the Lost Coast was experiencing some unusual weather patterns, and the team was tracking a massive storm heading their way. As they looked around, they could see dark clouds building in the distance. Given the situation, Russell Accord thought about why they felt so alone in the wilderness. He realized that the loud sounds he made to try and attract the creatures might have scared them away instead. Even so, he believed that no matter how loud his call was, it could never match the powerful and frightening sounds made by the creatures when they were nearby. With this in mind, the team decided they needed to regroup before continuing their search for Bigfoot. After taking a moment to catch their breath, they felt grateful for what they had gathered so far. They realized they had collected some of the best evidence to support the legend of Bigfoot. One of Russell's high-tech microphones had been recording everything that happened that night. This meant they had some interesting material to review once they returned to their base. Before heading back, the team decided it would be a good idea to listen to their recordings and see what they could uncover. After listening to the recordings, Russell Accord and the rest of the team quickly realized that some of the strange noises might have come from a nearby ridge. This was exciting because it could help them figure out where one of the creatures was hiding while it was stalking them. With a bit of luck, a closer look at the sound files would provide even more clues. Russell was so thrilled about what he believed was a strong piece of evidence that he decided to send the recording to Bryce Johnson for review before they even returned to base.
I'm going to send this to Bryce to see what's on it. There's a lot of info we can discover from what could be a genuine sound like this, from IDing the animal to tracking its distance. And who knows what other findings we can get from this recording.
This was big news for a field where credible evidence is hard to come by. Russell felt that the sounds could suggest something important at first glance, and he was eager to see what a more detailed review might reveal. But for now, they had to stay focused on their current task. A new day. As a new day dawned, bringing light to the dark and eerie woods, the team was excited to dive back into their work. However, before they got too involved, Mireya pulled LeBlanc aside. She was concerned and wanted to know why he had taken the risk of chasing after the creature without making sure it was safe first. She reminded him that his impulsive decision could have easily put both of them in danger. Upon hearing Mireya's criticism, LeBlanc felt the need to defend himself. He explained that he had been searching for Bigfoot since he was a child, and it had been a lifelong dream to have a face-to-face encounter. His sudden charge was simply an impulsive decision. Just then, a strange noise echoed through the woods, startling them both. Mireya asked what it was, and LeBlanc admitted he had never heard anything like it before. Although Mireya appreciated the excitement, she couldn't ignore the danger LeBlanc's impulsive actions posed to himself and the entire team. She questioned who would charge at a Bigfoot in the dark without checking its position first, noting that only someone reckless would do such a thing. Frustrated, she reminded LeBlanc that there was no room for such behavior in their scientific expedition. Following proper procedures was essential, not just to convince skeptics, but also to ensure everyone's safety. LeBlanc insisted that he was driven by a desire to try new things, especially if it meant finally getting that long-awaited encounter with Bigfoot. However, Mireya highlighted that such actions could put everyone at risk, especially since the sounds they were hearing could belong to a bear or a mountain lion lurking in the woods. Mireya was so annoyed by LeBlanc's impulsiveness that she made it clear that if he had been part of one of her own expeditions, he would have been sent home immediately. While she understood that this was a moment he had been waiting for his entire life, she emphasized that emotions shouldn't overshadow the purpose of their scientific mission. Although she found his behavior foolish, she acknowledged that they shared the common goal of finding Bigfoot or uncovering evidence of its existence. LeBlanc, to his credit, recognized where Mireya was coming from. He understood that his actions might frustrate her and those following their expedition from afar. However, he maintained that he might take unusual risks in the quest for Bigfoot, driven by the hope of obtaining undeniable proof of the creature's existence. Just then, a powerful noise rang through the forest, a sound so intense that it registered across multiple frequencies on their equipment. LeBlanc's excitement went up. He believed that this could lead to the evidence they were desperately seeking, and nothing, including the danger of the wild, could deter him from that pursuit. Acknowledging his previous impulsiveness, he offered Mireya an apology before they continued their search for the legendary Bigfoot. Meanwhile, as Mireya and LeBlanc went deeper into the woods, Bryce was busy reviewing the recordings that Accord had sent him the previous night. However, before focusing on that, he had a mystery to solve. He needed to determine what had caused the trail cameras they had left in the woods to be moved. The trail cam mystery. They became aware of the mystery surrounding the trail cam only after returning to the woods a few days prior. They noticed that the camera left near a water source had been compromised by something out there. Bryce hoped that reviewing the footage would help identify the culprit responsible for tampering with the camera. As Bryce examined the camera, he pondered what might have caused the disturbance. Most trail cams are built to withstand harsh environments, so it was surprising to find one damaged. Fortunately, their model was sturdy enough that Bryce successfully extracted the SD card. This was a significant win, as it allowed him to view the clips stored on it and see what might have led to the camera being thrown into the water. To Bryce's shock, he discovered a series of spikes in the nighttime footage. Upon closer inspection, he suggested that these spikes resembled the hair or fur of an animal that had come too close to the camera. Could it be evidence of Bigfoot? For now, he knew he would need to review more of the footage to uncover any additional clues. Bryce's ongoing review of the trail cam footage eventually confirmed that something had indeed thrown the camera into the pond. He found it peculiar to watch the camera being moved by an unseen force in the forest. To remain pragmatic, he considered the possibility that it could have been a bear. Bears are large and hairy, perhaps even more so than the legendary Bigfoot. And while they lack opposable thumbs, they possess enough dexterity to rip the camera off its mount before tossing it into the water. However, Bryce couldn't shake the nagging question: why would a bear want to throw the camera into the pond? He thought back to the peculiar patterns of movement observed in the footage, which didn't seem consistent with typical bear behavior. As he examined the footage frame by frame, he spotted a large bipedal figure moving through a clearing and then disappearing into the tree line. This moment was electrifying for Bryce. He felt a rush of excitement at the thought that they might have captured something extraordinary. But again, he wondered why Bigfoot would want to throw the camera into the water. After all, it wouldn't understand what a camera was or what purpose it served. It seemed impossible that a creature, known for its elusive nature, would deliberately interact with a man-made device. But something definitely threw that camera into the pond, and hopefully, there will be footage that provides a clearer picture of what happened in the SD card. Ironically, this is just one piece of Bigfoot evidence that raises more questions than it answers. Better hold on tight, Bryce. Such occurrences come with the territory when searching for the legend of Bigfoot. With this in mind, Bryce decided to update Mireya and LeBlanc on what he discovered from the SD card they sent him.
Hey, Bryce.
Hey, so I was able to pull those images off the trail camera that you guys found in the pond. Whatever moved this trail camera tells a story of this thing being possibly toyed with, or maybe even thrown into the pond. While I can't be certain, it looks like it has hair.
Wow, Bryce, that's crazy.
Although there wasn't anything definitive on the card, particularly regarding their search for Bigfoot, Mireya was convinced this was the work of their elusive cryptid. Perhaps it was fed up with the paparazzi treatment, or simply didn't want cameras intruding in its territory. According to Mireya, this aligns with the idea that the simplest explanations are often the correct ones. This suggested that the trail cam might have just slipped into the water, but learning it was thrown in changed everything. Maybe the simplest answer is that Bigfoot tossed the camera into the water. Reflecting on it, Mireya also recalled that the trail cam was launched into the water in the same area where something strange had once darted past her. It was quite eerie, especially since it happened in the dead of night. This information indicated to the team that they might actually be on the right path in their search for the legendary creature, and they shouldn't let up. For too long, people like them had dedicated all their time and energy to tracking this mythical creature across the continent. When you find clues like these, it's no time to ease off. LeBlanc was incredibly close to making eye contact with this creature. Sure, it could have cost him his life, but perhaps it would have been worth it. Maybe that moment could finally bring Bigfoot out of the shadows and into the spotlight. Unfortunately, the team didn't achieve that during that encounter, but with their determination, it seems they might be the ones to unravel this mystery. From a frightening encounter with a mysterious creature in the woods to the startling revelations captured by the team's cutting-edge equipment, this is how researchers at Expedition Bigfoot confirmed they found Bigfoot.